Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to review a new ready-to-fly racing quadcopter from FuriBee. This is the GT 220mm fire dancer quadcopter. It comes in 4 versions, one without any receiver. You can get also a DSMX, Fly Sky and also an FR Sky version like the one I've got. Inside this generic box we get in 2 sets of 50-48 propellers, the quadcopter, a very short instructions manual, a battery bottom plate, a pagoda antenna, nuts for the motors, and also this small carbon wrench. The quadcopter itself looks pretty good if you don't mind this reddish color, and the frame is identical to the Transtech Zorro 220mm frame. I'm not sure if it's a knockoff or it was licensed, but it doesn't have the Transtech logo, so that's why I'm not sure. The camera is identical to the camera that was used on the FuriBee Darkmax, and I was pretty happy with its performance. It also has a built-in OSD, so if you're not happy with its settings, you can adjust it, but you will have to disassemble the quadcopter in order to access the little joystick that is present on its back. The motors are 2306 2400 kV motors. It uses a 48 channels 600mW VTX with an RP-SMA antenna connector. The ESC controller is a 35A 4-in-1 ESC with BLHeli-S firmware, and it uses an F4 flight controller. I'm not sure which version it's running, and later on when I'm going to go through the configuration I'm going to tell you exactly which one it's using. On the top you can find the FR Sky receiver. I've used the same one before and the range wasn't amazing, so if you want to fly it for more than 200-300 meters I recommend to get a better receiver. In addition, there's a buzzer that is hiding inside, and it also has an LED strip on its back. Finally, this quadcopter supports between 3 to 6 cells LiPo battery. I'm not sure how it's going to handle 6S, but I'm going to try to fly it with a 5S battery. As you can see, it uses a unibody plate, which means if you're going to break an arm, you're going to need to replace the entire bottom plate. And the thickness of this bottom plate is 4mm. And the weight of this quadcopter without the propellers is 299.2 grams. I'm not really sure how this VTX is going to withstand a crash, because you can see that when you are going to crash it, this connector might break, so this is probably not the best positioning for a VTX, and probably a better position was to have a straight antenna connector, and if it was positioned in this manner, it probably would have been much better. Don't forget, before taking it outdoors, to fasten these screws over here. So first adjust your desired camera angle and then just use a screwdriver to make sure it's fastened. Make sure not to over fasten the screws because it might damage the screw thread of the camera. Setting up the VTX is pretty easy and is done by pressing this button over here. Short pressing it is going to change the channel. You have here the numbers from 1 to 8, and if you long press it, it's going to change the band between A, B, E, F, R, and L, and we have also these 2 letters, M and high. I thought maybe this VTX is adjustable, but it is stuck on high, and I don't think there is a way to change the output strength of this VTX. So in order to set your desired band and channel, just refer to this frequency table over here. I'm going to set the VTX on 5860, which means it's going to be set to band A and channel 7. So now, after powering on the quadcopter, and unfortunately the smoke you just saw was the VTX and it was working before, but you can see right now it wouldn't power on. It's really surprising and strange, but you can see that we don't have any light on this VTX, and unfortunately I will have to use another one on my review. So it wasn't really planned, and I really hope that this is the only thing that got burnt and nothing else was damaged. So what I'm going to do next is to replace this burnt VTX with this simple 600mW VTX. Then I'm going to go through Betaflight configuration, take it outdoors for a test flight, and then give you my conclusion. And I really hope it's going to perform well, because the last quadcopter I checked from FuriBee wasn't really great. So I hope you will enjoy the rest of this video. So overall, the fire dancer performed better than I thought it would, especially after I had the malfunction of the VTX, and luckily nothing else was damaged by the VTX, although I did have some problems. You could see a little black spot on the screen, and also in the last flight after using the 5S battery, the picture turned black and white, and I'm not really sure why it happened. But anyway, I recommend you to use either 3 or 4S batteries. I think the quadcopter performed the best with this 4S battery. With this one, it didn't last long because these are pretty powerful motors, so get at least 1300, maybe even a 1500 mAh type of battery is going to be a better choice with this quadcopter. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I recommend to get the plug-and-play version. Don't get the bind and fly, especially with the FrSky version, because the included radio receiver wouldn't be sufficient, and I think that upgrading it to the XSR was a wise choice because I didn't have any range issues. I didn't get too far anyway, but still, to be on the safe side, I think you should use an XSR, an RXSR, or any other full range radio receiver. By the way, I've seen other videos and the included VTX shouldn't be that great anyway, so I recommend you to change it, especially to a VTX with this straight antenna connector, because having the antenna on this position is going to be a better choice. I will try to get a coupon and I will include it in the description once I will have it, so it might save you some money. And as always, if you have any questions about this quadcopter, feel free to ask it in the comment section below, and I'll see you soon on my next videos. Goodbye.